So I'm just here to give a very quick run through of our own experiences at Cantelo Nurseries with biopesticides. The majority of our crop up until the end of last year was organic, so we faced some challenges when it comes to pest and disease control. Up until the end of last year, we actually had 2 nurseries. Now we only have 1, Braden Farm. But a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is also to do with the cucumber crop that we had at Chiltern Cantelo, which has over the years proved quite a challenge, especially in terms of disease control. So as it stands at the moment, we have 8 hectares of conventional peppers and 3 hectares of organic peppers. However, up until the end of last year, we had 5 hectares of organic, 6 hectares of conventional, plus we had 3 hectares of organic cues. Our main problems, challenges, basically aphid is our biggest problem in peppers, and it's conspicuous in its absence when we're talking about biocontrols and bioinsecticides are a lot less common, it would appear, than biofungicides. If we can find an organic, friendly biopesticide for aphids, I will sleep a lot better at night. Caterpillars, not so much of an issue for us because we can generally control with BT. And the other pests and diseases, the other pests we've got there in the peppers, we will generally control with biocontrol. So biopesticides don't really come into the equation there for us at the moment. In terms of disease, Tim knows a lot about our fusarium corky root problems we've had in our organic peppers, and to that end we have used trichodermas, the Trianon product from Copper and Compete Plus from PHC. It's not always completely clear to us whether or not they've had any direct effect on our cropping, or whether, because we're always striving for better control of these problems, these root problems, we're actually looking into our cultivation methods year on year, and to my mind we change a lot at once each season in terms of our irrigation, our compost amendments, things like that. And sometimes I think that sort of masks any effect of these products, and I'm not completely sure whether they do have a positive effect on top of what we're doing already with things like composted green waste. That's one of my best friends. That's Momestra brassicae, and once they get to that size, obviously they're beyond the reach of things like dipel for us, and so it's a case of throwing lots of staff at it and trying to get them to just hand pick them off the crop, which, you know, it's an expensive hobby, but if we can prevent losing a lot of our crop to those size caterpillars, then it's worth doing. Much to say, sort of a subset of pest problems in cucumbers from what we've got in the peppers. Still the same kind of control products we've been using there with various degrees of success. But really the fungal diseases for us have been the biggest problem in the cucumber crop. Powdery mildew was a huge headache for us. And whilst we tried AQ10 for a couple of seasons, it's very difficult to convince management that we need to spend lots of money, as it is with a lot of biocontrol products, before there's actually anything to look at. You know, if I'm saying we need to start spraying as soon as these plants go in the ground, well, why? Because there isn't a problem. Well, there will be if we don't, and I think we all know this circular argument we have. But saying that, we did have issues with sclerotinia, gummy stem blight. I'm never sure whether it's Didymella or Microcerella or whichever one it is I should be talking about there. Downy mildew has been a problem for us in the past, but for the last couple of years, the continued use of Serenade Pre-Stop and Contans seems to have brought those problems under control in our cucumber crop. And unfortunately, it was our last year of cucumbers last year, but we actually had very little disease problems at all. The only thing that gave us issues was powdery mildew, which we had to resort to using potassium bicarb on rather than anything biological. That's what we used to have before we started this intensive program of biopesticide use. I think that's a great sort of indication of sclerotinia at work there. It's a horrible disease, and that's the gummy stem blight. And yeah, so I think really BT gets a lot of use on our nursery in the peppers, and it's just it's to my mind, I've been with the company sort of 4.5 years now. When I first started with them, it was just 3 sprays of Dipel, got rid of our caterpillar problem. But now it seems even after 4 sprays, we've still got things that are escaping. And I think, as the previous speaker said, the application method is probably something we need to look at there as much as anything else. I mean, some people have said there is resistance to BT. I'm not sure whether we're necessarily seeing that or whether it's just the fact that sometimes, as I say, we've changed our cropping quite a lot in organics, and perhaps we're just not getting as much coverage as we used to by the way we grow by the way we arrange our beds. So it's really, it's a bit of an uphill struggle trying to spray caterpillar at the moment for us. And once they, as you all know, once they get beyond a certain size, BT just isn't going to do anything to them at all. But it's all we've really got in organics at the moment, because there isn't anything else available to us that doesn't harm the biocontrols, the other biocontrols. We've tried. We had an issue with whitefly a couple of years ago, and we used Mycotal quite successfully actually on those. And we're now, I think it was at the AAB conference last year. There was a University of Reading student who was looking at using it against aphid and was getting really good results. But when you look at the very controlled environment he was using, it's great for him to be able to control humidity 24 hours a day. He said, oh, you only need 80% humidity. Yeah, we'll get that, but we don't get that all the time. So I think I'll go on to that in a minute. But we will try that again this year, just on some aphids, just to see if we do get any results, and we're corresponding with them at Reading just to sort of compare notes. I think I've just covered most of that to do with the diseases. Yeah. But the reason we've got events like this going on is because us growers need educating about what to really expect from this kind of product. And as I said before, it's not, you don't make yourself very popular when you say this is what I need to buy, even though you can see absolutely nothing wrong with the crop at the moment. I need to spend this many £1,000 on product X, Y, and Z, because they're not always the cheapest products on the market. So that's, from a biocontrol manager's perspective, that is an issue for me day by day. And I think, as I was just saying, the way our crops grow, the environment we grow them in, and I think this has probably been touched upon by other speakers already, we need to sort of steer our environment into the kind of situation where these biological products will actually work as we want them to. It's not, I know it's preaching to the converted here probably, but as I say, we need to move ourselves from a chemical mindset to a biological control mindset rather than an eradication mindset. And also, as I've touched upon previously, I think sometimes we need to be able to try and do a bit more work to pick out how much effect our cultural practices are having on the plants, how we're sort of creating a generally stronger, healthier plant, or whether we're creating a better environment for the roots, so that just naturally, without using any products, the good guys, for want of a better term, will tend to be favoured rather than the pests and the pathogens.